Hey, what's up? My name is Stephen Maniac, and today I would like to introduce a new type of video to this channel, discussion video of sorts, where I simply discuss random topics whenever I feel like it. I figured this is a simple type of video to make. I don't need heavy editing on it, and I can simply talk about what I want. And most importantly, I want discussions to be made on this video, so I want interaction in the comments for this video. This is what I'm looking for. People interacting with me and I am able to interact back. So for starters, I opened Steam today and I noticed a recommendation for a new game that just released for early access called Trailmakers. This is an indie game, and the first thing that pop out at me when I open this is that I scroll down to check the price, of course, and I noticed there's a demo, and this is just written on it. Try the complete game for 1 hour for free. So this is a timed demo, and the reason I'm calling this out, the reason I'm starting the discussion with this, is that recently I've played Resident Evil 2, the remake. Yes, I've played the demo, and for most people that know about this game, the demo only lasted for 30 minutes. This was a timed demo. A lot of people criticized the demo for being only 30 minutes long, even though the demo had an ending and you could finish the demo before 30 minutes, you still could only play for 30 minutes. So after you replay the demo for a couple of times, even if you rushed up, you couldn't play more than 30 minutes. And people were really thought this was strange, and me as well, because when I played the demo, I felt rushed. It was a rushed experience. I couldn't read the notes. I couldn't explore very well. I left rooms behind and everything. So even though the demo was limited in space and in content it had, the timer was simply unnecessary in my opinion. And when I saw this indie game also with a timed demo, I the first thing that popped into my the first thing that popped into my mind, Resident Evil 2, they are trying to copy it. Maybe they get the marketing strategy behind it. And this is the first thing that comes to my mind, obviously. I've said this during my playthrough. Looks like a marketing strategy where the demo is already something that gets you the taste of the game, but you need to buy it to fully experience. And putting a timer, you are saying, "Oh, here, take a taste of this," and then you took it away and say, "No, no, you cannot taste it anymore. You need to buy the full game." It's like you are forcing the hand of the consumer, in my opinion. At least that's how I felt like it. I even bought the game mostly because of this effect. I really wanted to try the game, but sincerely, the reasons behind my purchase were more for an investment for my channel. So if it weren't for me and only me, if I were to play the game only for myself, I would probably have waited until sometime later when the price went down. So this is just me. The thing is, putting a timer on a demo is not something that I like. And when I saw this in the game, I was like, man, maybe there are more games out there that have timed demos and I don't even know about it. Maybe this is something that is already been going on for some time and I'm not even aware. So I checked Google for something like this, that so I could understand better if this was a trend already going on for some time. And the first thing that came to me was Steam forum, Steam discussions, where a guy called Min Mataro in 2004, back in 2014, he mentions, "Oh, I'd like more games, even if Steam just gave me the game and only let me play for 30 minutes." And I was like, "Wow!" Just already back then, people were already talking about timed demos, even if they were not a thing back then. And obviously, this is not the same topic. He's mentioning about taking a full game and Steam itself, not the publisher, not the developer of the game, allowing you to play the full game for 30 minutes, even if the developer doesn't allow or so. So the thing is, people already had that mentality that a 30-minute demo was already an idea, an okay idea, even though I didn't like it now. So I kept digging, and another thing that popped out was a post on GameFAQs from a guy called Xian Mei, and he mentions that he heard about the timed demo for Mario Tennis, and he was wondering if there were more Nintendo games that had this. And apparently there were. Splatoon and ARMS are two games that apparently have timed demos. I don't know about this because I don't own a Nintendo system, at least not a recent one. My latest was a Super Nintendo. Just a bit outdated on that regard. So he mentions about that, and but then the reading the through this discussion, they mentioned that it's called these demos were called a stress test, and this kind of makes a bit of sense because Splatoon, ARMS, they are online multiplayer games, and if they necessarily use Nintendo servers, obviously the servers gotta be tested for the full game to be fully developed without problems. So a timed demo to forcefully test the stress of the game of how many people can play at the same time, maybe it's something that works. I don't know. I really don't see the point in it since people might not play at the same time at the same 30-minute frame. So how are you gonna test stress that? But it makes sense to some extent for a multiplayer online game to have a timer. Otherwise, you could play the multiplayer game indefinitely. It's not like a single player game where if you play once you finish. No, the multiplayer is intended to be replayed a lot. So for those cases, I understand a timed demo, stress test or not. And then, but this kept me thinking, why Resident Evil 2 had a timed demo? This is not an online game. This is not a game that requires a stress test. You don't play with anyone else, so why put the limiter there? The only conclusion I came to was again the marketing strategy, psychological strategy over the consumer. But of course, this is everything I'm talking from the top of my head, and this is why I wanted to make this video. I would like if you that are watching, if you understand a bit more of this, and even if you don't understand, if you just think something like me, or you think something different from me, or if you have any argument whatsoever about this topic, I would really love to read about it in the comments, and so I could answer as well, even if just to agree or to disagree or to start a discussion. This is just something that I want. I want more interaction with you, and nothing better to pose a question for you. So a few questions. Do you like timed demos? Do you think they are necessary, important, or required for games nowadays? What about the demos themselves? Not that many games nowadays have demos. These older games used to have a lot more demos back in the day. Nowadays, I really don't see those much demos anymore. And of course, if you've played the Resident Evil remake as I have, how did you feel regarding the timed demo in that experience? This is something that I really would like to know. And before I finish this video, I'd like just to comment, like to share something of mine, so this is not just me rambling about anything else. I remember one of the systems that I most played demos on was the Sega Dreamcast. I remember the very console comes with a demo disc that's basically a collection of the most popular games for the release of that console. And I still remember there was Crazy Taxi, a fishing game. I really don't remember the name now. Power Stone 2, I really like that game, especially the demo was really fun to play because I could replay it over and over and with local multiplayer, and it was fun, even though there was just 2 stages and 3 fighting characters out of the whole roster. it was still fun to play over and over and to really test out the game. And most importantly, Sonic Adventure 1. I played that demo over and over and over, and that would get me to buy the game for the Sega Dreamcast. I finished the game on the Sega Dreamcast, and even after the game stopped working, sold the Dreamcast away. I even bought the game again when it finally released when I finally found it on Steam. And even though I haven't played it, I still bought it because it's one of my most cherished childhood memories. This game is simply awesome. And one last comment, I remember that I played the demo for the Sonic over and over because when I was little, I didn't understand the concept of demos. The demos is just a part of the game. You are never going to get the full game out of it. And I remember that I've played over and over, I think for an entire week, trying to best my score. I got most A's, and I don't think there was an S rank in the game, but I've played that a lot. I was this was just the first stage of the game, and I was completely doing it automatically, like I was speedrunning the demo. And I was expecting it that when I reached a certain point, I would get to the second stage. Oh, how naive. Well, those were my experience with demos. I really like demos. I really like to experience a game for something that it can offer and try to attract me to buy it. So if you wanna also share about any experiences you have, I would really love to hear about it. So thank you for listening, and thank you even more if you wanna discuss about it. And I see ya on my next video.